Mark Holland. You see, he says, it's Friday. I just had a boiled lobster. He's up north of Boston. Mm-hmm. And Sailing Illustrated is on. Can life get any better, Julia?
Oh, it sounds like a lovely idea.
Blake is on in Minneapolis, the land of 10,000 lakes. No, it can't get any better, Mark. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. This is our show number 857 in our 9th year, closing in on year 10, Julia.
Yes.
Hard to believe we've been at this that long.
That's incredible.
A lot of folks on. Christopher Gillingham and Jane in Livingston. Alan Long, who's sometimes in Texas, but today's in northeastern Ohio. Ted Ryman's in Cape Town in the Republic of South Africa. Greg Phillips, as usual, from the Gold Coast of Oz. As we do this every Tuesday and Friday at 1300 Pacific, 2000 UTC, and we thank you very much for joining us for this show number 857. Julia, there is the starting line, the big screen. Happy Friday and happy Blind Acceptance Day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, give me that look again.
Yeah.
I get you on camera 3. Look over at me and give me, oh yeah? Happy Blind Acceptance Day. Tuesday's show, number 856. We had a huge viewership for Tuesday's show, over 3,000 views. And we'll tell you the reason for the edit. I did an edit on Wednesday to our posts of that show, to be polite. To Terry Hutchinson. Breaking the Mubadala Team Brazil boat and wing were wrecked earlier today after they did a nosedive during practice racing in Germany. We'll show you that. We have the video and more. A tribute at the top of the show to yachtsman, commentator, gentleman, and longtime friend Peter Lester, who passed away a week ago today in New Zealand. And Bravo Zulu to Team Biotherm, who won the Ocean Race Europe's Leg 1 from Kiel to Portsmouth in the UK. We'll feature them. Coaching Corner from the couch today. John Emmett is giving us a consult with Dr. Positivity.
Oh, do we need that?
Oh, we do need that. Dr. John. That's the Coaching Corner. And then we'll have a preview of tomorrow and Sunday's Sail GP Germany. It looks like breeze on for the first ever Germany Sail GP. Alistair has not one, but 2 AAAs. I'm catching up with his submissions as he bids a rainy farewell to Garda. He left there some weeks ago and then reported in from a lovely Phuket on the way back to Oz. Nice AAA. Last leg, Chicago Match Racing, the Grand Slam is on this weekend at Chicago Yacht Club, and then we'll also do a quick preview of next week's Puerto Portals 52 Super Series. And, of course, This Day in History and more on today's show number 857. As Pedro Foiling Sailor down in Oz is saying, I'm here in the background. Clay Embley is towing his Ilka, his laser, and listening to us. I hope if you're driving, I hope you're not watching us, Clay Embley, in Texas. Phil Yeomans, morning then, off to the what? Phil, off to the what? Gruber, and lots of others. What's the Portuguese word for Scheisse? It was a Crutonic sad thing because they're out of the race now, the Brazilian team.
Yeah.
And Martina Grail are out of. Now, you're going to ask, what's the meaning of this picture? There is one. There is this cover photo for today. There is a real reason we're running that. But first, let me apologize to T. Hutch. This is the reason for the edit, because I ran this on the show on Tuesday. We are reviewing the agreements between the defender and the challenger of record regarding the AC-38 protocol and the partnership agreement, and are evaluating whether the agreements provide a viable foundation for American Magic to participate in the 38th America's Cup. That statement was true and correct. Terry sent that to me. I put it on the air. The problem was, as you can see in his card, I have now blanked it out as I've done on the edits. That was the only edit to the show's Tuesday's show on all 3 platforms, my Facebook page, the Sailing Illustrated Facebook page, and YouTube. Because I included his personal cell phone number and his email address, and Julia, that was not correct.
Nor expected on either coming or going.
And I'd never done it before, and I know I was just in a mad dash, so we're fixing that and have fixed it. And Tara, again, I apologize for. I hope nobody is calling him on his.
Oh, I bet. Did he get any?
No, he didn't. Not that I know of.
Oh,
anyway.
good.
Christian Price, hi. We are watching from cold Sydney. Hamilton Island Race Week starts today. That should be fun. I wish I were there. Hello, Monica Diaz. Long time that we've seen Monica Diaz on here from normally from Spain. Ed Worley, I know, is also driving today and saying hello, everyone. I believe he's driving. That was T. Hutch's statement. A few of you were asking for the statement. I posted it on my Facebook page earlier today, but that is the statement, which is somewhat still at odds, Julie, with what the New York Yacht Club Commodore said. He offered up a quote that Mr. Dalton used in paragraph 3 of his press release on Tuesday. And there's a lot of, shall we say, discussion.
Yes.
Shall we be polite and say discussion within the New York Yacht Club over his statement, over his quote? That was Tuesday's show, and that had over, as I said, over 3,000 views, and that is the reason for the edit. If you go on any of those platforms, you'll say, oh, this is an edited version. That was the only thing. I just put a little blank over Terry's name and email address. Breaking news in every sense of the word breaking. This in Germany, where SailGP takes place tomorrow and Sunday. They're practice sailing today, had a press conference. But Martina Grail and her Mubadala Team Brazil suffered catastrophic failure of the boat after they augered in, after they buried the bow. And that, you can see their port pontoon there has gone off the cross beams fore and aft, and is now not, the boat is not in one piece, obviously. And the wing also collapsed, and the wing is in serious strife. So it was a bad situation. The good news is everybody was safe. There's the thumbs up signal from Martina and the rest of her team. Yeah. That no one was hurt in the incident, but it's pretty brutal looking. It's pretty ugly. And they will not be able to sail this weekend, Julia. No. And here, you'd think poorly if we did not have the video. Right. And here is the longest video I've seen of the incident.
As they flew past Mark 1, Australia are down on the inside. Oh my word, it's a big incident here. Big problems. Oh no, and there's a massive incident on board the Brazilian boat. Oh, this is huge here at the moment. Disaster as we see the Australians lead the fleet away now. They are down the road. Los Gallos cut the corner. We're going to have to see what happened at Mark 1 there, but that was a big moment.
Two incidents as they went around mark number 1. First, it was France. It looked like they pulled the e-brake, Stevie.
Yeah, did I say 28-minute? I meant 28-second video. Obviously, it's a quickie, but there were some earlier videos that came out that were quite a bit shorter than that. I'll play it again without the audio because I just can't stand to listen to. I mean, I'm sure Stevie Morrison has a heart of gold, Julia, but I can't take that commentary. I mean, really, here it is again.
As they flew past Mark 1, Australia.
They auger in, and it looks like, as Jody is saying, it looks like the forward crossbeam, maybe the after, but the forward crossbeam at least failed, and the port hull, the port pontoon, broke free, and then the wing, of course, kept going forward and also crashed off. So that was Mubadala Team Brazil, their incident today during practice racing in Stotznitz, Germany, which is in the old DDR and the old Eastern German up on the Baltic. And we'll tell you more about that later in the show. Suffice to say, everyone was okay. Again, we're really pleased that no one was hurt, but these boats are under tremendous loads. And with the T-foils that they've now installed on the boats, I think they got to have a Russell and Co. have got to go have a look at what's going on because they've had too many failures. If the boat augers in, it ought to stay together in one piece. Right. Now, I'm not an engineer. A lot of you are on here are engineers, and they need to obviously strengthen these platforms beyond what they have already done. Tell me if I'm wrong in the chat or if you agree. Andrew Pindar, it's all go this summer, not least of which being the return after a 10-year interregnum of the incredible Sail Amsterdam. Let me know if you're going to be there. We just might participate in a Heineken or two. So a little off topic there, but Andrew Pindar, nice to hear that. Chris Exley is saying it looks like the port pontoon indeed broke in half. I'm not sure, Chris, and I haven't read more. Maybe some of you have heard or read more. The boat looks like it is trying to round up while the pontoon is underwater. Not so sure about that, Baton Rouge. You may be right. I don't know who AH is. We don't normally read comments from people whom we don't know. Put your real name in, if you would, please. Sail GP, what's the point of being one design if they are not robust enough to be sailed hard? The commentators, yeah, nasty. Jody Shields, the French incident was too much torque on the turn and windward rudder couldn't handle the loads. Shall we now look at the French incident? Just one caveat here. It confirmed, a big article on the website, the SailGP website a few minutes ago. High-speed practice race crash ends Brazil's Germany Sail Grand Prix. Okay, we'll get later on. I'll have a more extensive report, and we'll tell you about what happened to the French team, because they also, just before this happened, they also had an incident which put Quentin Delapierre in the hospital.
Oh my!
But he's okay too. Apparently he's okay, and he's out of hospital now. So that's the breaking news from SailGP in Germany. As we said at the starting line at the top of the show, it's really sad news when we learned over the last weekend, that Peter Lester, longtime friend, super sailor, America's Cup sailor, commentator, had passed away. He had a heart attack and then some complications, and passed away at home last Friday in New Zealand. Peter Lester was born in 1954, so he was just a year younger than I. I've known him since forever. There was a very nice piece that Magnus the Magnificent did on the America's Cup website, others on the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron Facebook page, and New Zealand Sail New Zealand, whatever the national federation is called, and beyond. But this Magnus writing, the America's Cup community is mourning the loss of Peter Lester, who passed away last Friday at home in his sleep. Peter, a veteran of 3 America's Cup campaigns and a world-renowned sailor, both in small boats and in big boats across multiple classes, was most recently a much-loved broadcaster who brought his insight and well-founded analysis as a co-commentator to millions who tuned into the daily live coverage of the racing in Barcelona and many cups before that. Peter was known by everyone in the Cup community, and his infectious laugh, combined with his generosity of spirit, will be greatly missed. And that is for sure true. As I said, that's Magnus the Magnificent writing, Magnus Wheatley, on the AC38 website. I first met Peter. There he is, I think, sitting on the rail furthest to the right with the binoculars up. I met him in 88 during the 88 America's Cup San Diego. This article is, I commend it to you. Again, it's on the AC38 website. Magnus talks about his Peter Lester's extensive Olympic career. He won the OK Worlds from memory, OK Worlds Championship, and then won the Finn Trials in New Zealand prior to the 1980 Olympics, but that was the boycott year, so he didn't have a chance to go to Moscow, to Tallinn, and sail and possibly win a medal in the Finn class. Then he was involved in Admiral's Cup and big boats, and he got involved in the America's Cup as well as the tactician. He returned home to begin his America's Cup career in the late 80s as a tactician aboard KZ-1 in the 1988 Deed of Gift match launched by Sir Michael Fay and David Richwhite that was ultimately unsuccessful against Dennis Conner's catamaran, the fixed-wing catamaran in San Diego in the Coma off Point Loma, 1988. And I believe that is Peter right there. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's him. He was tactician for the late, great skipper of that boat. I'll think of his name. Remind me in the chat. And that was a difficult campaign for all of us involved, but it was a magnificent boat designed by Bruce Farr and sailed well by Team New Zealand, nonetheless. Peter will have a celebration of life. The family and the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron have gotten together next Sunday, a week from this Sunday, on the 24th. There will be a celebration of life in the ballroom at the RNZ, 4 p.m. arrival for a 4:30 p.m. service. Thank you, Steve Gruber. David Barnes was the skipper on that boat, and Peter was the tactician. That will be streamed live, that celebration of life, and it'll be on YouTube for us here in the States on Saturday the 23rd at 21:30 Pacific, Saturday night the 23rd. Slightly out, 30 minutes after midnight for those of you in the Eastern time zone here, and in your early morning in Europe. Peter Lester, 1954 to 2025. May he rest in peace. Okay, getting on with past the sad news and into today's show. Julia, what are we celebrating today? Does it have anything to do with that cover photo, do you suppose?
The Wizard?
No, it's not. We have something even better to celebrate than the Wizard of Oz. I'm just going to go to a couple more comments before we leave Peter Lester. Pedro Foiling Sailor, so sad about Peter Lester. Go get your heart checked, all speaking from experience. Remember, Pedro Foiling Sailor, fame, and the reason they call him Pedro is because he died in Mexico at a laser masters some years ago, and they brought him back to life. The docs did, and the hospital did, and he's lived to talk about it after a heart attack or some major infarction. And I can say that both my brothers earlier this year had major heart attacks. My dad's just have a valve replacement, so knock on wood. So far, my ticker's ticking along okay, Julia.
Yep.
And I keep an eye on it. And I think Peter's advice is very good. Everyone should be, especially you get to be our age, you should be very mindful of your heart. There are things that can go on that are asymptomatic, and there's nobody better to talk to than Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin, who is a semi-retired consulting cardiac surgeon. And I consult with him, and he's been a huge help. And not that he wants to give a lot of free help all around the world.
I was going to say, shame on you.
He's too busy with all the other stuff that he's got going on, right, Julia?
Sailing, yes.
But I do talk to Mr. Doctor from time to time and about the things that are being discussed here in San Francisco by my docs and yours, Julia.
Yes.
And a few other doctors. So Peter's advice, very good indeed. And apparently Peter Lester had suffered a heart attack, had gone to the hospital, had been in there for a few days, and then was released, went home, and then passed away in his sleep on 3 days later. So you never know. Vascular surgeon Andrew Pindar is correcting me. Andrew McIrvin himself is saying, help, I'm not going to advise all of you. Huh?
Absolutely.
He's not going to advise everybody, Julia.
No.
But suffice to say that I think, again, Pedro Foiling Sailor's advice is very well taken. Julia.
Sir.
What are we celebrating today? There's your clue. And remember, we said something about, remember what I said in the starting line?
Mm-mm.
Don't drink the...
Oh, Kool-Aid.
the Kool-Aid. This is National, if not beyond, Kool-Aid Day. Revitalize the taste buds with a vibrant burst of fruity and refreshing powdered beverages is probably really bad for you. A timeless thirst-quenching delight. And this, I had no idea that the story of Kool-Aid began in Hastings, Nebraska. That's where Edwin Perkins, a man with a passion for chemistry and a knack for invention, created a delightful drink inspired by another household brand name, Jell-O. Perkins initially concocted a concentrated drink mix. He called it Fruit Smack. However, the bulky and fragile glass bottles created several distribution headaches. So in 1927, Perkins had a genius idea. He removed the liquid from Fruit Smack. The result of his innovation was a convenient powdered form that he could package in envelopes. Thus, Kool-Aid was born. And of course, the Kool-Aid went on as long as you put enough sugar in it. Oh, man, we drank this stuff as kids. I don't remember my favorite flavor. I think it was grape, but that's another issue. The drink was first sold in wholesale grocery and candy stores at a cost of 10 cents per packet. The original packets featured 6 of the flavors: cherry, grape, lemon, lime, orange, and raspberry, and strawberry. By 1929, Julia, you weren't quite born then, Kool-Aid had made its way into grocery stores across the nation, indeed across the world. And Hamish Ross is saying that Ken Kersey had a great Kool-Aid recipe, with LSD in it. Andrew McIrvin, Kool-Aid,
Easy.
possibly the worst possible thing to drink. Not only unnatural, but you pour it full of sugar. And Alan Long is saying anything is better than getting medical advice from RFK Jr., our new head of Health and Human Services. Kool-Aid, man. And the aforementioned book, there is an America's Cup connection to all of this, believe it or not. Tom Wolfe wrote a book called The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. And Hamish Ross, thank you for forwarding this cover. And Mark Holland is saying, and now to a cult near you. And yeah, the Jamestown massacre sadly involved not Kool-Aid, but it was another thing called Flavor Aid. It wasn't a Kool-Aid, basically that Jamestown massacre down in, where was that, in Guyana or someplace? Yeah. Basically put Kool-Aid out of business, and that's the reference from Mark Holland about a cult. But before that, and this was the basis of before Guyana and the Jonestown massacre, the basis of Don't Drink the Kool-Aid or You Are Drinking the Kool-Aid is from this book by Tom Wolfe, the 1968 book of fiction called The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, when they were putting LSD in the Kool-Aid and then taking it. And by the way, I was going to run it, but the video was too long. It was about taking Kool-Aid and pouring it into Tito's. Tito's? Come on, what's your favorite brand? Casamigos, I suppose, not Tito's. You take vodka and you pour Kool-Aid into it. Oh, yeah. And that's apparently quite a popular cocktail these days with kids because it's sweet. Yes. And it gets you hammered. Great book, Alan Long is saying. Tom Wolfe, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. And it was a nonfiction book in 68 by Tom Wolfe, written in the new journalism literary style. By 1970, this style began to be referred to as gonzo journalism. Remember that, Julia?
Hunter Thompson.
Yeah, a term coined for the work of Hunter S. Thompson. Speaking of whom, do you know which one is Hunter S. Thompson? From this Rolling Stone magazine article in 2006. Thompson is on the right. The guy on the left is the artist Ralph Steadman, who was his, shall we say, comrade in arms, as this was really the hippie beat generation really had taken hold by then. And Rolling Stone ran this article called The Birth of Dr. Gonzo Journalism. The iconic illustrator Ralph Steadman actually wrote this piece reflecting on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and Hunter S. Thompson in this tribute from 2006 in Rolling Stone magazine. And he said, and it's been reported widely otherwise, that one night in Rhode Island, where we were covering the America's Cup for Scanlon's magazine, these two guys went up there on a lark, and Hunter got 2 cans of spray paint, one red and one black, and my job as the artist of the two was to write something artistic on the side of a yacht, meaning the America's Cup boats. So he rowed us out in a dinghy in the middle of the night, but I was having hallucinogenic problems. I was seeing the water as red, and I just sprayed the paint in the air. When we got back, a rock and roll band had stolen my suitcase. All I had was the clothes I was wearing and my passport and my ticket home in my pocket. In one pocket, Hunter had my shoes. Well, there's more to that story. And as Andrew McIrvin is saying, Ralph Steadman was a superb illustrator cartoonist. And Alan Long says, if you remember the 60s, you weren't there. I know. Banner, well, it might get you hammered, but it may also get you screwed with a capital F, I think he means. But there's more to this story, Julia, because when they went to Newport, it's been widely reported. I
don't know this story.
Well, they went to Newport. The America's Cup was going on 1970. And they got in a boat, and they were going to take this spray paint and paint on the side of the yachts in the middle of the night. And they were shaking the cans. And there was a guard on the dock, I guess at Newport Offshore, I'm not sure where, along Lower Thames Street, heard them doing this, chased them away because they were about to paint on the side of the boats something, they couldn't think of anything more controversial than F the Pope. They were going to paint that on the side of an America's Cup boat so that when they thought, well, it'll get lowered in the water, nobody will notice it until they're headed to the starting line. Oh. But they did get chased away, and that was the rest of the story. So
that was good.
That was good, and that leads me to saying keep calm and keep drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's that expression, drinking the Kool-Aid or don't drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah. It's a neologism for a strong belief in and acceptance of a deadly, deranged, or foolish ideology or concept based only upon the overpowering coaxing of another.
That's an interesting phrase. Okay.
Isn't that good? Mm-hmm. And I thought that might be a good theme for today's show, given what went on Tuesday.
Yes.
So keep calm and keep drinking the Kool-Aid. Jody Shields, I was still bouncing around in the 60s. And I just want to show you a couple more things here. This is, speaking of Tuesday, the rumor is that they have now posted that very sign there in the, I don't know if that's the boardroom or what that room is there at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squad. You can see it posted there on the wall, can't you? Huh?
Keep calm.
Keep calm and keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It's posted right there on the wall. That's the rumor. I'm sure there's some truth to the rumor, but it's probably it's probably apocryphal.
Yeah.
That picture by Sue Ellen Hurling. Thank you very much, Sue Ellen.
That's a very good picture.
That picture is going to go down in history, Julia. Mark my words. Oh, the new protocol, Mark Holland is saying. Mm-hmm. So you see how I tied that all together?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. There it is, right on the wall of the squadron. Keep calm and keep drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, it's worked before.
And speaking of Jody Shields, it brings me to another connection here. Let's go to Jody, and we have to have haven't had one in a long time, a correct or croutonic with Jody Baby Shark Shields. And I ask you, is the new protocol correct or croutonic? More importantly, is the new protocol and the term sheet, which was released yesterday, that referring to all this financial business, the commercial agreements, and the so-called America's Cup partnership. They haven't drafted it all yet. All they've done is the so-called term sheet, which a lot of people are just saying, there's no way you're going to get that agreed by September 9th. It's, at this point, it's just a term sheet. It's not contract language. It's not boilerplate. And it's apparently the draft is hundreds of pages. The term sheet's short. And the term sheet is out, and it's being studied by people in the America's Cup community. So I'm asking you, is all of this correct or croutonic? And specifically, after you read what Hamish Ross had to say on his Facebook page yesterday, Hamish said, let's be clear, the deed is not for changing. And I think he means the deed is not going to be changed.
Yeah.
The only legal basis to make changes is if the deed becomes impossible or impractical, you might say impracticable, to perform. We are miles away from this. We have a trustee and a defender who have agreed on a match. Proof enough that the deed is working and is not broken nor impossible to perform. Leave the future trustees and challengers to work out their own match terms in their own future contemporary environment.
Yes.
The deed has worked for 155 years and is the reason why the America's Cup competition has lasted, while so many other trophies and competitions have been lost during that time.
Amen.
If you want a different competition or rules, go buy another trophy. Just don't hijack the America's Cup. Sail GP did so, and now arguably it is beginning to eclipse the America's Cup through both smarter management on one side and lamentable guardianship on the other. That's yesterday. Super Fozy Hamish Ross posting on his Facebook page. So I ask again, Julia, is all of this madness that I say was more by way of a press release than a protocol, is that correct or croutonic, what we know of it so far? Notwithstanding, we're going to have boats with only 4 or 5 crew on them, down from 17 or 18 in the IACC boats. No batteries ever permitted. Before, we didn't allow stored energy. Now you can only use stored energy except to steer the boat. And who knows if that will then, the steering will then be computer modified. Who knows? But it's sounding more and more like flying saucers. Flying saucers.
Pre-programmed.
Being run, back at the yacht club bar.
Right.
By gamers.
Yeah.
Is it correct or croutonic? Blake Middleton agrees 100% with Hamish. Ed Worley cheers Hamish, you are right. Mark Holland, amen. Steve Gruber, so croutonic, I will be having Caesar salad for dinner tonight. The comment of the day.
Yes.
Pedro Foiling Sailor, I don't understand the new protocol. Please explain it. Dogzilla Monster, that's Stingray up in, who's a big fan of Sail GP, in bigger with each passing day. Call this new series The Taihoros Cup, the name of the ETNZ boat. Ted Ryman replying to Pedro, you were not supposed to understand the protocol, LOL. Alan Long finds it Crutonic. Andrew McIrvin, just do it by remote control. No sailors on the boat at all, Julia.
Right.
Is it correct or Crutonic?
Oh, that's very Crutonic.
It's just, it's unbelievable. And when you look at how many teams have put their hands up so far, there's obviously Team New Zealand. It looks like, and by the way, I haven't seen peep out of Luna Rosa. Not a peep, not a word of in left, right, or center, up, down, or otherwise. Mm-hmm. The French have gone extremely quiet. I've heard nothing from the French. Now, maybe there's something that I've missed. Tell me if I've missed it. But everybody says Mr. Dalton is going to fund the French team so that he can have 3 or maybe 4 teams. If Sir Ben, who keeps saying he has boats, but everybody in the UK tells me he doesn't have boats.
Right. Oh,
if he doesn't have a boat, he will build a new boat, but to the old design so it qualifies as an old boat. Yeah, right. And for the first time ever in the America's Cup, we're going to have old boats.
Uh-oh.
Now, we've had back in the 12-meter era, there were some boats that got, rehabbed and reused as the Defender, but they were always, modified, if not heavily modified.
Yes, and according to the rule.
And according to the rules. So J. Frederick Bland is saying, just walk away. Well, I think that's what New York's going to do. I'm not sure. They haven't told me that. But you saw Terry Hutchinson's statement again at the beginning of the show that I ran not for any reason other than to say I'm sorry, Terry, I put your email and phone number in the show last Tuesday. It's gone now. Yarvahe, isn't all okay until someone says not so fast? I don't like it, but will it be challenged? Well, it's not a matter of being challenged. It's that the America's Cup arguably since 07. The 07 event in Valencia was a pretty good event. We had 12 teams. Mm-hmm. And since then, it's just gone steadily downhill, including here in San Francisco, where we only had, 5 teams? Mm-hmm. And it's not much of an event if you don't have teams and if you don't have worldwide interest and excitement. And frankly, SailGP with 12 teams and, 13 or 14, how many events do they have this year? And lots of coverage and lots of eyeballs. I mean, SailGP probably got more eyeballs today with that wreckage of the Brazilian boat than the America's Cup is getting.
Yeah.
So TNZ, Grant Dalton is funding both fronts and helping Sir Ben get dollars from sponsors. Yes. And I didn't say who that sponsor was, but on Tuesday's show, but apparently it is an Italian sponsor, MSC, which is the big Mediterranean shipping company. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to get involved with the event, helping as an event sponsor. And Mr. Dalton said, well, why don't you go help Ben Ainsley? Or so one hears. Oh, it's, I'm struggling, and we're going to talk quite a bit more analytically about this on Tuesday's show. I'm hoping Hamish will join us. Hamish isn't sure. He's got some other commitments and obligations. And if anyone else wants to join that show on Tuesday, we'll have a Zoom panel of some sort to discuss all the pros and cons of this. Let me know, please, over the weekend, and we will do something on all this in a more analytical, in a more detailed way. I still don't have the term sheet myself. I had it described to me this morning by a senior serious person in the America's Cup. Actually, I've heard it now from 2 different people, one American, one non-American. And I asked them, well, on a scale from 1 to 5, how's the term sheet? And one came back and said, you don't want to know. It's just that bad. And the other one came back and said, on a scale from 1 to 5, it's a 0.5. It's that bad. So this thing isn't going to happen on this basis. And I almost played the video from just before the match that Mr. Dalton, he gave an interview in Barcelona saying, oh, yeah, we're going to have events starting in January of this year, 2025. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably have 3 events in 2025. We're going to try to do the Cup in 2026. And if we can't do it in 2026, then we'll do it in 2027. We're going to have a lot more teams. We're going to get the cost of the thing way down. Nobody understands how they're going to ever audit and try to enforce the 75 million euro rule. Mm. And the entry fee is 7 million euros, and you get some of that back.
But who gets it?
Well, the entry fee, and that's the other thing. It's still not clear in the term sheet or beyond, I'm told, about the distribution and the retention of the revenues, the money.
Yeah.
And until there is a deal where, like Ernesto, to his everlasting credit, did in 2007, that split the revenue among the teams, until that's in black and white, as we wrote, we were the challenger record in 07. Hamish Ross and I did most of the heavy lifting on that protocol.
Right.
And to Ernesto's credit, Hamish's credit, and the rest of us involved, we wrote that. Dyer Jones was involved. He was the regatta director. We wrote that all into the protocol. Here's the funds. Here's the distribution after the costs of running the regatta. We'll keep the costs of running the regatta to a dull roar, which they did in Valencia.
Yes.
So, Mark Holland, but America's Cup with a continued loss of respect might be better to be... No. The America's Cup will continue. It will survive. It'll survive even this.
And it will improve.
And it's at a nadir. Is that a good word?
A nadir?
Nadir. It's at a low point, to be sure.
Yeah.
And these four people in that photo from Tuesday, I just shake my head. Oh, not those four. There's another reason I use this picture, not just because of Tuesday.
Yeah.
Let's carry on with happier news. Bravo Zulu. Well done in praise of performance. And this to the winners, to Biotherm, who won leg one of the Ocean Race Europe. As you all know, it started in Kiel last weekend. They've gotten now two across the channel, and they're over now in Portsmouth in the UK. They start on, is it this Sunday? They start, yes, I believe it is this Sunday, and they go really just a sail by Portugal, and then they're headed for Cartagena in Spain. That's the next touchdown point in Cabo de Palos in Spain. And as we told you on Tuesday's show, Biotherm had a good start and was extending their lead on this fabulous... Julia, that picture looks like your dress.
Yes.
Did you wear that dress and scarf in honor of this photo again?
Absolutely.
I know you loved that picture and said so.
I did.
The other day.
Yeah, it's...
And they were leading then during Tuesday's show. We told you that they were setting the pace in moderate conditions as they were approaching the halfway point of leg one. And Paul Mielhat's team tightens their grip as the drag race to England was then beginning in earnest. Mm-hmm. They did, in fact, win. They came into Portsmouth, that famous tower, the Spinnaker Tower, and they deserve Bravo Zulu for a magnificent, almost wire-to-wire performance. They got ahead fairly early on after the start. And I don't have a good video from them that's anything. I tried to cut one of the 14 or 15-minute videos down, but we'll be following them. No doubt they're going to get a lot of ink because they look like the odds-on favorite going forward. But we've been following your good friend's team, your favorite team, Julia, and here is his video, Team Malizia's video. They finished second.
Well, good.
Happy about the result and quite tight. It was intense. We fought quite hard at the end to get past Patrick Akea, and really happy we achieved it.
You know, we started off like 15 miles away from them, like quite far, didn't really seem achievable, and then we made a few nice moves just before Dover, and realized we had them back on the AIS and we could, you know, within a few miles, and I think that sort of turned on our hunting mode really. We just, you know, when you see a boat there in front, you just wanted to keep trying to catch up with them, and it was really cool we managed to, and then, you know, eventually overtake them just before the finish.
Honestly, that's like the most fun part. Like, I would rather have a competitive race than us just all following in line, and you know, even if we got third, I think I would have been super stoked.
Yeah, I think the mood was really good. Everybody pushed really hard until the end of the race. For me, it was also the first time racing with the team and sailing with Cole, Boris, and Will on a race. So yeah, I think it worked really easily, like in a simple way. So yeah, I think we're all really happy about how it went.
Well, I get a little holiday. So I'm going to fly to Spain, and then I check back in for the third, fourth, and fifth leg. So I'm super excited.
It's now Will taking the skipper role, and Frankie coming on board for the next leg. And yeah, I will have one leg off and then join the last legs of the race.
Yeah, so leg 2, I'm going to be the skipper of Team Elixir, which is very exciting for me to be leaving home waters as the skipper of an IMOC 60. It's kind of been my lifelong sailing dream, I'd say for sure. So really excited to get out there and see what we can do in leg 2.
Pip's on another boat, Alan Long. He's just asking where's Pip, and we'll get some features of her as well. She's a favorite of many of you, but this Team Elixir sailing, I guess, for the Yacht Club de Monaco. I'm not sure for whom they are sailing, but obviously a German team with Boris, Hermann, Hermann, and Cole Brouwer. No, not Tapper. Cole Brouwer. She just, everything she does is smiley and pizzazzy.
Right.
Is that a word? Pizzazzy?
Sure.
With enthusiasm, with fun. Will is a great guy. Boris is great. And
everybody's smiling. They're having a good time.
And she's taking the next leg off. She's going to fly to Spain and relax for a little bit. And I think, I'm not sure actually that Boris Herm sailed on that leg. I'm not 100%. Maybe he did. But maybe tell me in the chat if you know. But good stuff. Pip signing books on Gun Wharf tomorrow, Yarvai is saying, in the UK. And they start on Sunday, again, for that sail by Portugal and then around the corner into Cartagena in España. We're looking forward to that. Now, the big incident, which I didn't cover on Tuesday's show because we were distracted by the America's Cup madness. Here is the still. And I've been looking, there were videos, but there were videos that were kind of vertical, up close and personal, that didn't show the big picture and whether the leeward boat was luffing up and didn't give the windward boat room to keep clear. Mape, in this case, is the windward boat, or whether the leeward boat was just kind of sailing along and the windward boat that was having some control problems with, I don't know, was their keel or what the problem was. Whether that boat just kept going and didn't react, didn't respond. I finally found a video which I think fairly well explains it. It's almost, they haven't had the protest hearing. Both boats have protested each other. They haven't had the hearing yet. They're going to have the hearing in Cartagena. Why? Well, because both boats have been busy getting repaired. And they're both trying to make the start. It looks like Biotherm is, it looks like Wholesome PRB is going to make the start. The other boat probably is. They've gone up through the Kiel Canal and the shortcut across, and that start on Sunday. But the protest hearing is going to be held in Cartagena for another reason, Julia.
Yes.
And that is because they may be requesting, one or the other or both, requesting redress.
Yes.
And if they find one boat wrong and they decide to grant redress to the other boat because of the infringing boat's failure to abide by the rules, they don't have anything on which to grant redress. And they don't want to just give average points over all the legs. They really want to see how they do in the next leg to Cartagena.
Yeah.
And then that gives them some guidance about what the jury might do as far as redress is concerned. So I hope
that's very complicated and also very good.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I agree with you. So here is the picture of the incident. Now here is the video that I found, 2 minutes of fairly good video and replay of this incident.
Many people have tipped him for the win, and right now in the very early stages it is going well for the Frenchman. Big breeze coming over Alegrande Mappi, huge heel. Team Wholesome PRB also, and Team Wholesome PRB just broaching out. Too much heel, too much power for the rudder to control. Alegrande Mappi just holding on to the power. They're using the big fractional code 0, the big head sail, giving them full power. Thomas Rien at the back of the boat. Oh, and right there in the middle, Alegrande Mappi and Team Wholesome PRB getting incredibly close. Now, Team Wholesome PRB was to leeward, but I think Alegrande Mappi was behind, going over the top, and that was far too close. Nobody on board either boat will be happy about that. I'm just waiting to see exactly what happened there, and it is bad news for Alegrande Mappi. The fractional masthead set, the fractional code 0 has torn. It has ripped. Now, that could have been on the rigging of Team Wholesome PRB. That is a disastrous way to start this race. You are now going to have to get that sail furled out of the way. It actually looks like it was the masthead code 0, and that is why they lost control. There was so much power. Nobody else was going for that big sail.
Now, all of the teams are carrying 7 sails, so it isn't the end of the world for them. And it's the windward foil that completely cuts through the 0. They are so sharp. It's so easy for it to happen. But that is an absolute disaster for Mapei. But they do have other sails on board. It's going to be a mission for them to deal with that now, get the sail out of the air, and try and repair it over the course of the leg.
Oh, you can just see Ambrosio Beccaria. He is not happy. He knows that he was, I don't want to jump the jury on this one, but I think technically in the wrong. But I think they felt we were through. We were over the top. There's no way the Team Holcim PRB will come up from there.
I didn't understand why Mapei pulled out. Gordon Smith is asking, Holcim got hold, but why Mapei? Well, I think they had other problems besides just their code 0 getting slashed by the port foil, the windward foil of that boat. So I'm wondering if foil damage, Fog Machine is saying, I think, those boats come together like that. That's pretty delicate machinery, and even though that's got to be strong for the foiling purposes. But I'm wondering we should convene, Julia, if we ought to get Clark Chapin to convene a mock jury.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a better video.
I was going to say, I don't think we have a good enough video.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty hard to tell whether the leeward boat had lost control and was wiping out.
Because it's behind the other sail.
And then because they were ahead, here I am doing bar karate. Let's go to camera 2. The leeward boat, Holcim PRB, was well ahead, and they kind of were wiping out at the big puff, the big gust, at the same time that the windward boat was. Mm-hmm. And whether they came up into and caused the collision, or whether the other boat, because they were on their ear, couldn't respond to just staying clear of the leeward boat, or some combination thereof. Called a moot hearing in law. Well, this isn't a law case, Hamish Ross. We're going to call it a mock hearing like we did some years ago. Remember that, Julia?
Yes.
We did that for the
Sydney Hobart.
Sydney Hobart. Mm. And our jury heard it and got it right. And we had Hamish Ross, we had Clark Chapin, and we had Dick Anderson represent the 2 boats in the mock hearing. I kind of chaired it, but we did it live and online, and then we let the viewers decide, and they decided something like 90-10 who was wrong. Yeah. And then we said, okay, let's go to the penalty phase. Who are you going to how much of a penalty are you going to dole out? And our guys were harder than, or they were softer than the jury. Our gang watching doled out a 30-minute penalty, and the jury came and doled out a minute or an hour penalty.
Yeah. A Fog Machine said originally both boats will be found in violation.
Yeah, I think he might be right.
One for not keeping clear, and one for not avoiding a collision.
A collision results in damage.
That is pretty good.
Well, let's see what everybody else is. That's Fog Machine. That's Lance Burke here at St. Francis Yacht Club, our good friend. Steve Gruber, one hears, and I've seen video, that Holcim swung their keel to leeward, causing the wipeout. I've heard that too, Steve, but I don't know for sure. Looks like PRB rounded up. John Spangos agreeing with Steve Gruber. Rick Bannerow, wrong sailing format for those boats. Well, that's true. You really, in that, after a start, close quarters like that, you need to have better separation. Mm-hmm. You need an air traffic controller keeping the planes apart. Holcim was stalled to leeward, checked their mainsail. It was fully inverted. They rounded up, and maybe the keel can't, meaning not cannot, but the canting mechanism failed. Mm-hmm. Chris, actually serious damage to the starboard deck spreader and the D0 shroud. That's actually saying about the damage to Mapei. I think there's another video from a helicopter. I haven't seen that, Fog Machine. Send me a link, would you please? Mm-hmm. And John Spangos also saying the tracker should tell the story. Ryman, Ted saying not very smart to be so close to each other considering the distance they are racing. Well, again, like everything else, Ted, it started out, they were fairly far apart, and then it very quickly closed because the problems aboard both boats, which is why I think Lance Burke may well have this right. I don't see Clark Chapin on here. And maybe...
He's busy today.
maybe we'll. Yeah, I think he's chairing it down at North Cape Yacht Club. I think he's chairing the jury at the.
I think he told us
something. The Tartan 10 North Americans or something. Safer to have start time separated. Yeah, but it's more dramatic for the media.
Yes.
Hamish Ross. Or maybe 20 meters in this case. In any event, I will talk to Clark and see if there's the appetite for some kind of a mock hearing or something, because they're not going to hear this till they get to Cartagena, which is they're leaving Sunday. When will they get to Cartagena? I showed that on the slide. It'll be a week.
Yeah.
Around, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the picture of the hole.
Ooh.
And it's amazing, in fact, that they got it repaired, and they did get it repaired.
Wow.
And the team and one of the boat companies there in Kiel came to their rescue, and they say, we are unstoppable. We have left Kiel to rejoin the race in Portsmouth, and I believe now the other team has as well. So hopefully they'll both get there for the start. And the Cartagena dates are the 20th. They expect to be there on the 23rd, as you see down there at the bottom. The arrival, the ETA is the 23rd. Fan Day on the 24th. Speed runs on the 25th. That's a media day. And then they're starting from Cartagena on the 26th. So there's plenty of time. Jody Shields highlights the design of the boats as well, as there is not a clear view of surrounds. The two sailors on the deck of PRB had no clue the other boat was so close to them until they collided.
That's true.
Yeah, Canarium was the boatyard in Kiel that helped get them back on track, get them repaired and back in the race. Yarbahe saying even these boats stop quite quickly if all the sheets are dumped. And I think Baton Rouge has got it right. Room and opportunity to keep clear versus a boat that has rights that is out of control. But again, I think both boats are subject to being penalized. I think, Lance, what do you think, Julia?
I thought so when I read it.
Okay, Lance Burke. Well, you went to Stanford. You're always right.
No, I'm not, especially about sailing. I know.
So let's see what happens. Maybe we'll do some kind of a mock hearing. Maybe we'll just show another video or two if any of you have seen it. Joe Holtzman likes that repair video. Great sporting spirit. Yes, to rejoin so quickly. Hamish Ross agreed. And their Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, are the standings before any redress hearing, any protest hearing. Biotherm leading on 9 points. They got some gate points there for the scoring gates. Team Militia in second, tied actually with Team Paprick Arkea. And then Canada's first-time team is in fourth, and Team Amala, Team Wholesome PRB down at the bottom, along with Alagrande Mape Racing. And we'll see what Fog Machine says, yeah, that group at Canarium helped get them on an even.
Kiel.
Kiel, K-I-E-L. Well done, Lance. Well done.
Yeah.
So here is the jury explanation, actually the explanation from the website. Each of the teams involved in a collision shortly after the start of Leg 1 of the Ocean Race Europe have filed protests against the other. The cases filed by Team Wholesome PRB and Alagrande Mape Racing follow a collision shortly after the leg start in Kiel will be heard by an international jury that has been sanctioned and appointed by World Sailing. The jury consists of the World Sailing Qualified International Jurors, IJs, and international umpires. Andre Perez from Spain is the chairman, Miguel Allen from Portugal, Chris Atkins from the Great Britain, Corinne Alnette, I don't know Corinne, from France, Maria Torrijos, who's a great judge and race officer from Spain, and Sofia Trukanowicz from Poland. The hearing is scheduled to take place during the Cartagena stopover following Leg 2.
Well, it'll be interesting.
So there, Julia, and it's an eminently qualified jury, and I'm sure they'll do the right thing.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
which gets us to John Emmett's report. Speaking of doing the right thing, John checking in from the couch. I don't know if the couch in his apartment or the couch at his family farm, but this is nonetheless the Coaching Corner with Super Fozy John Emmett on positivity for our sport.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. Well, you join me today for the Coaching Corner on the couch. I thought I'd see how easy or hard it is to set up a camera for seated. And I guess it's a bit more relaxing sat here, and you can probably see it's dark outside, so I didn't really have any choice at all about where I was going to record. So I'm going to say something now that shouldn't be controversial. I just think we should all be positive about our beloved sport of sailing because, and I choose my words very carefully, I want you to think what you are achieving. In other words, what the end result will be. So if you end up slating the current format on an event like America's Cup, and you say it used to be better in the past, what are you achieving by saying that? Because I just feel that that negativity towards our sport doesn't make it very welcoming. And we should celebrate, you know, all the good things which are happening in sailing, and also accept that not everything is everybody's cup of tea, and things do change. I mean, a good example, you know, I'm really happy for people who enjoy cruising, but that's definitely not for me. I don't try and, you know, persuade them actually when they were younger and they used to go racing, it was much, much better. I even have friends who will go out for a cruise and they will do some fishing on the back of their yacht. And again, that's really not for me. But, you know, if something's in place and something's happening, let's celebrate it. Or if you're not interested, just let it go. I think it's really important to be positive about the sport because from outside, that's what people will see. And everybody, you know, is attracted by a good atmosphere. I mean, I know I've been to football games and they might make a few chants about the referee's mother or his activities when they feel a decision has gone against their team or bad decision. And I see it actually a lot with the coaching. I'm in a lot of WhatsApp groups. And, you know, you can tell whose sailor has had a bad day because the coaches will be very critical of the race officer or the juries or the umpire or the media boat. And of course, things can be better. And I said this time this year, we have the World Sailors Conference in Europe. It's in Ireland. And I'm going to fly there, you know, just to try and do my bit off my own dime to make sailing better. And I said, you know, women's, youth and para are my sort of three key areas. But also I think, you know, I mentioned before, but the officials, you know, so that Rule 42, judges, race officers, it's a really important thing. And of course the media, which is why I spend so much time doing this. But I do think it's really important to think about what our actions are and how they affect other people. As a coach, I spend a lot of time trying to train people's inner monologue because that way you speak to yourself, if you keep on telling yourself you're useless, or you keep telling yourself you're improving over time, and I don't need to be just a professional psychologist, that is what you become. That voice is incredibly powerful. And there's a lot of things in sailing, and that is the beauty because there really is something for everybody. So my overwhelming message, if you can lead, help. If you can't, please get out of the way. And most of all, slightly different sign off from usual, but most of all, please, please be positive and make sailing appealing to everybody.
Dr. Positivity, John Emmett, get to the front of the fleet. There were a fair few comments, Julia, to all of that. And I'm going to just go to one comment here, and that was from Jody Shields, who said, constructive criticism isn't being negative, or is it? And I don't hear anybody on here ever being destructively critical. I hear people, including and especially myself, saying what I think and thinking what I say and meaning what I say. And I see a lot of other people with very constructive criticism of all manner of things without being destructive for our sport. So, John, yes, let's be positive, fully support that. But let's also not be afraid to call a spade, Julia.
Yes, I must say I don't I don't get torn apart by things like that. I just take it as it comes.
Josh Tozo, my daughters like to say, I don't want to yuck your yum.
That's good.
Constructive criticism is exactly what it sounds like. It is almost always helpful, Mark Michelson to say. Exactly. I mean, we're not tearing down the America's Cup. We're not tearing it down at all. I just said a minute ago that the America's Cup is the pinnacle event, always will be, and this is just a period we're going through. But when they do crutonic stuff, I'm going to call it out. And if you don't like it, don't watch the show. And the rest of you who want to...
Or answer.
Or answer and tell me I'm wrong. Yeah. Because, I'm rarely in error, but never in doubt. Julia? Well, and I didn't go to Stanford.
Yeah. So you know that another voice does appear now
exactly.
and then. Yes.
Ed Worley, preserving the history and traditions of our sport is important. Mark Michelson, my dad always told me you can point out a problem, but you'd better come up with a solution. That's a good point and a good one to end on. And I agree with John. It is important to be positive. And I think in general, we are, and almost everyone on here is, very positive about our sport and moving it forward and attracting as many people to our beloveds. We're not like, Sailing Anarchy, who just seems to be all the time. That's not us. John Emmett, get to the front of the fleet with his Coaching Corner segment. And John reminds us again from way back in January, we keep pushing for Paralympic sailing to be in the 2032 games in Brisbane as a demonstration event, and then hopefully back in the Paralympics for good there.
When will that be decided?
I think pretty soon, actually.
Yeah.
I think pretty soon. I'm not, Alistair Murray and others in Australia are keeping an eye on that, and I'm sure he'll report back more ASAP. By the way, before we leave the Olympics, one hears that there was a meeting with the LA port the other day, and they said, all we're going to do is build some grandstands, and that's it. And when they were confronted with all the security issues demanded and taken in Marseille, for example, and demanded by the IOC and others of what has to go on to protect the sailors if they're going to run half the classes up there at San Pedro, that the port said, no way. We're not going to do that. So they've gone from saying it's going to be in San Pedro, where they had a good laser, Ilka, was it 6 and 7 junior worlds? Was it the 4 and 6? I can't remember what they had. And on shore, at least, it appears to have been a very good regatta, so one hears. But out in the water, as we've been telling you, they have a kelp problem that rivals San Diego's kelp problem up there, where they're proposing or where they're saying they're going to run the boat for the 2028 Olympics. But the port now is starting to say, whoa, we didn't know that was all involved in having to establish, maintain, and pay for the security. So this thing is still an open question as to where the 2028 Olympic sailing venues for all 10 classes is going or are going to be. Rick Bandero saying, when you hear one hears some TFE Junior, you can virtually take it to the bank. Well, we're very careful. Thank you for that, Rick, but we're very careful not to do a one hears unless I'm 95% plus sure of what I'm talking about. Julia, what happened on this day in history?
15th of August.
15th of August. The Mayflower left England, for example.
Wow.
That was one. Woodstock started on the 15th of August.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
It started. You weren't at Woodstock, were you?
No.
Somebody on here was.
Yes. Yes, somebody was.
Somebody was.
Yeah.
The 15th of August, 1939.
Now, that's a good year.
That's a good year. Who was born in 39, Julia?
Oh, I just don't know.
And now you'll know the real reason for my cover, if you believe me, the cover photo for today. There's your first clue of what happened in 1939 on August 15th.
Came out.
It came out. The Wizard of Oz, that's a publicity still from the theatrical release of that show, which took place on this day in Hollywood in 1939. The Wizard of Oz, an American musical fantasy film adaptation of L. Frank Baum's book, premieres at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, directed by Victor Fleming and King Vidor.
Vidor? No, he's my friend.
Did you know him?
Very well.
Is he still around?
No.
Who was King Vidor, Julia?
He was an early movie director.
How do you know him?
Because he was the
It's
best.
not another one you dated.
No, but his daughter was one of my best friends.
His daughter was. Did
Yeah.
you date the daughter?
No.
Every
Well,
time one of these people comes up, it's somebody you dated,
But-
or their brother you
but
dated, or their...
I did have 2 dates with the King.
King V, you did?
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
And he was in his 90s. And
When you dated him?
I had 2 dinners with him at his house, much to his housekeeper's disapproval.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that wasn't that long ago. Well, in any event, back to the story. As usual, if Julia...
No, he's actually he was a very important figure in motion pictures.
The Tin Man is not looking too sterling in this publicity still. Anyway, back to the text here. King Vidor, whom Julia dated, with a cast featuring Judy Garland, who played Dorothy, Ray Bolger, who played Scarecrow, Jack Haley, the Tin Man, Burt Lahr, the Cowardly Lion, for you all know this, Frank Morgan, Wizard, and Billy Burke, Belinda, and Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch. Songs by Harold Arlen. And did you date either Harold Arlen or Yip Harburg?
I'm sorry, no.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. Where the Wizard of Oz opened would be a good trivia question. Well, that we just answered it. It opened rather at Grauman's Chinese Theater on this date in 1939. This day in history. And no, Julia, the reason I used this photo was not because of that photo.
Oh yeah.
Although a lot of people think it is.
Yes.
Now you see, there's the real picture in the background. Before they put up the "Don't drink the Kool-Aid" or "Keep drinking the Kool-Aid" poster, that's up there now. Gordon Smith is impressed that you were dating King Vidor. Is it Vidor or Vidor? Vidor. Elvis had his last good day in 1977 on this date. Tied for the first color feature with Gone with the Wind. Yes, Technicolor. It was. I had nightmares about that video. About that film. It used to air on TV here once a year, right?
Yeah.
Way back in the 60s, I guess, maybe even 50s. And we as a family of 5 kids and my mom and dad and I don't know who, we'd all sit around and watch it. And of course, we were doing a lot of sailing by then at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And when I saw the water melt the Wicked Witch of what was it, the east or the west? I was assured that water was going to melt me too. And I had nightmares about water melting me, Julia. So you see, there's a sailing connection.
Yes, of course.
Ted Ryman loved the Wicked Witch. She was the coolest in the movie. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The Wicked Witch. Yes. Da-da. Don't make me release the flying monkeys, Rick Banner is saying. No, that's not the 4 people in The Wizard. But maybe the Wizard's in that photo. I don't know. One never knows, Julia. Sail GP preview is next. Let's do that. They're sailing in Germany. What were you going to say?
Blake Middleton said the Beatles played to nearly 60,000 fans at Shea Stadium on that date.
Yeah, it was their biggest. It was their biggest, at least to then.
Yeah.
Their biggest audience.
And it's an event later regarded as the birth of stadium rock.
Indeed. There's a lot of things that went on this date, and including Woodstock, as I think I mentioned.
Yeah.
Did you know about Woodstock?
Of course.
Did you think about going?
Heavens no. Not at all. I was at a very different stage in my life.
Ed Worthy is saying, ding dong, the protocol is dead. The protocol is dead. The protocol is dead. I think the term sheet's probably dead. I'm not so sure about the protocol. But Sail GP, and we told you a little bit about this a week ago. I didn't talk much on Tuesday about it because we had all that America's Cup madness. Germany makes its Sail GP debut as the headline all over the place. The stunning Black Sea resort town of Sassnitz. It used to be spelled with an S set with a B. The double S, looks like a B in German.
Yeah.
Will host the first ever, until they modernized the language back in about 2005. Will host the first ever Germany Sail Grand Prix, and we're expecting a sellout crowd. They got a bunch of bleachers put up. More than 13,000 SailGP fans are set to descend on the race stadium, they now call it, for a shoreside view of the action, thanks to the prime locations of the waterfront grandstand and waterfront premium lounge.
Aha.
They used to call it the Adrenaline Lounge, didn't they? Maybe they still do. Along Satznitz's iconic harbor wall. Germany SailGP team driver Eric Heil, who's struggling in the standings, said it will be a huge moment for them. There's a nice article about that as they look to make moves up the leaderboard in front of the Legion of Home fans. In fact, we featured that article a couple of shows ago. Didn't do much, as I said then, for the American team with their venues here in the States.
No.
Speaking of the American team, there is their boat doing a bit of a buckaroo today in the practice racing. It was a breezy, bumpy day, as you saw at the top of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Satznitz's location in the northeast of the island of Rügen means it is known for flat waters, which, combined with a promising forecast of up to 18 knots, could see the 12 F-50s blasting around the race course in champagne conditions. There they wrote it. It makes Andy Rose's toes and fingers, everything. It's like going on a blackboard with your fingernails when Andy Rose says sees champagne.
Yeah, it's a sort of strange place for regatta.
Well, it's not. It's it's an old. We talked about that. In fact, I'll show you some more about it. It's a very old and quite well-known German resort town up on the Baltic. SailGP commentator Stevie Morrison said this will make it technically easier for teams to sail their boats because of the flat water and the breeze, but will also mean they can push them harder and faster, as we saw this morning. Now, this is where that is. Again, I ran this map, this Google map, a couple shows ago.
Right.
And it's Rostock is in the old DDR, the old East Germany, and I lived in Hamburg there Leslie, Meg, and I lived in Hamburg for 10 years. She went to grade school there before we moved to Spain. So we know this area fairly well. We'd get up, and that's why we spent a lot of time up in Copenhagen. It was a 4-hour drive up and around and across. And I had a couple of business meetings over in the Rostock area, although I'd never been up to this resort. But it's, by all accounts, it's a beautiful area, and it looks like they've got some breeze for the weekend. This is, again, Sassnitz in the old East Germany, a Jasmine Peninsula, and it's a national park. It's a beautiful area, fabulous area. And it goes back quite some time as a historic Baltic resort. This is a postcard from 1912. So it was, a health resort and so on. And the Germans are very big. Didn't we talk about this, going outdoors and lying on the beach naked and even in the cold weather? And, that's what people do in Germany. Good stuff. Okay, now, notwithstanding the pictures we showed you earlier this morning about this disaster, really, for the Mubadala Team Brazil when their boat nosedived and collapsed, and it's now confirmed, as I said at the top of the show, that during this high-speed practice race, this crash has ended Brazil's Germany Sail Grand Prix. They will not be able to race. I'm going to play the video again in case you're just joining us. This happened in practice racing this morning, and it's a video we played for the breaking news at the top of the show.
As they flew past Mark 1, Australia are down on the inside. Oh my word, it's a big incident here.
Big problems.
Oh no, and there's a massive incident on board the Brazilian boat. Oh, this is huge here at the moment. Disaster as we see the Australians lead the fleet away now.
I feel sorry for Martina.
Well, exactly. But the good news is everybody was safe. Everybody's okay. They gave in fact, I think right there at the end, she gives the thumbs up. But the boat, notwithstanding, the boat is a mess.
It is.
I mean, the ribs have come in. And as Jody and others of you mentioned, the port pontoon has broken clear, and the crossbeam is probably broken, the front forward crossbeam. But it's also broken off of the aft crossbeam.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a major repair. And again, you put T-foils on the bottom of these boats that were not designed for this kind of stuff, these kinds of loads, and you're going to have problems. You don't want to nosedive the boat, obviously, but if you do, you would hope the boats would stay in one piece, although this was a pretty serious nosedive.
Yeah.
They went auguring deep into the water. Ed Worley saying SailGP needs more spare boats and wings to keep all the teams on the water. Well, yeah. Or boats and wings that are strong enough, ? Steve Gruber's asking. That's a big parts issue. That's not just spare parts. That's a major. Gordon Smith, it is fact now 2 mono. It is in fact now 2 monohulls.
Yeah.
Chris, actually, interestingly, the wing seems to have survived in pretty good shape. Yes, indeed, although I think the base of the wing is mucked up with a capital F there, Chris Exley. Now, there was another incident just before this happened, and it was the French who augured in. And I don't have a video of it, or not much of a video. Just moments before, Quentin Delapierre's France team suffered damage to their F-50, causing their boat to fall off its foils. Delapierre was taken to hospital after practice to be checked over before being cleared of his injury. So he's okay. Good news. Meanwhile, the SailGP short team will be working through the night to attempt to get France to the start line when racing begins tomorrow at 3:30 Central European Summertime, CET. So that was obviously a major as well, and hopefully they will be able to race, Julia.
Yeah, I worry about all those things.
Well, indeed. You can see the rudder flying off in that picture. Let's go back to that. Can you actually see it? But yeah, one of the rudders let loose, and maybe the rudder gave way before the boat nosedived. It's not quite sure what caused the nosedive, although I'm sure they're working on all that.
Yeah.
And Fog Machine saying that Quentin Delapierre was thrown hard into the wheel. Yes, came out upside down with legs in the air.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So I hope he didn't have a John Sangmeister. I didn't hope his ribs didn't get cracked or worse. You know, John had cracked ribs and a punctured lung or a deflated lung. I'm not sure what all. Jody Shields is saying on SailGP's Facebook page is a video of the incident with the French team. Okay, Jody, send me a link, would you please, and we'll have a look at it on Tuesday if this is still a big issue. But nonetheless, there's racing, and it's going to be breezy, so there may be some more action here, Julia. There may be some more action this weekend. Now, I have a rather long video, a 10-minute video with Lisa Darmanin, but she goes around and talks to several of the skippers. It's way better than the press conference. You know, me going in and trying to find the best content for all of you to give you a feel. We're only 18 minutes past 2 here. We're only an hour and 18 minutes into the show. So I got plenty of time to play this video. Have a look at this and tell me what your impressions are of SailGP and the skippers and the teams and the excitement surrounding this event after you see Lisa's walkabout in the technical area of SailGP.
Welcome to the walkabout for the Germany Sail Grand Prix in Sassnitz. It's a new venue for SailGP, so I'm really excited to chat to some of the athletes and find out what their expectations are of this weekend. And walking straight into it is Tom Slingsby from the Bonds Flying Race. Tom, how are you going?
I'm all right. Happy to be here and ready for another weekend of racing.
It's quite unique now to go to a new venue. I doubt you've done any sailing here.
No, I haven't done any sailing here. I think I've sailed in Kiel, in Boltenhagen, Warnemünde, Travemünde, which are all up on the north coast, but never been here to Sassnitz.
And it's shaping up to be quite an interesting weekend forecast-wise. Looks like we could have a bit of breeze tomorrow and then a bit lighter on Sunday. What are you expecting on the race course out here?
Yeah, the forecast is changing a lot. Tomorrow's come up a lot, so we're looking at high teens in the forecast at the moment, but that's been increasing each day. And initially Sunday was really light, but it's actually increasing too. So, yeah, it's looking good at the moment. If we have the wind that we've got in the forecast, we'll have a great weekend. It's going to be offshore and shifty. we were looking back at old footage in the event in Aarhus in Denmark about 3 years ago as to what it might be like. We haven't really had many events like this with really shifty conditions.
Oh, should be a bit of fun race course to play with.
Yeah, we can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tom. I'll let you go and have a good train day.
Cheers. Thank you.
I'm here with a driver from the North Star Sail GP team, Giles. I bet you're looking forward to getting back out racing and having a good one this weekend.
Yeah, we are. We didn't have the best one in Portsmouth, so it's nice that we get to go again quickly here in Sassnitz for sure.
And what was the debrief like for you guys from Portsmouth? It looked like it was a tough weekend for you guys.
It was, and it was, to be honest, it was really a tough day. It's Saturday, we got all wrong, like really, really wrong on quite a number of levels. And Sunday was actually good, which I suppose rolling into Sassnitz now is quite nice that it's not like the last day we went sailing was a terrible one. It was just the Saturday where we really pooched it. So I think, we learned a lot, and hopefully we can put that into action here and regain some of that form.
And I mean, the points are still really close. You're definitely in the hunt, but does it feel like you just need a few good ones and you're back in the top?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's, the further through the season we get, obviously, those points gaps begin to feel bigger and bigger. And we're now, I think, 10 off third. And yeah, it's a gap, but it's bridgeable. It really is bridgeable. There's a lot of sailing still to be done, and I think the way that the fleet is now, with so many good boats, that those 10 points are, it's doable.
And you're looking forward to some shifty, fun conditions out there?
Yeah, we came expecting super light wind with a long range forecast, and then overnight it's changed, and it looks like it's going to be quite windy for the weekend. So yeah, it should be good.
Awesome. We'll enjoy and have a good weekend. Thanks, Giles. All right, I'm going to dive into the chaos now and see if I can get Pete from the Black Foils. Oh, he's walking away from me. Pete, you guys are at the top of the leaderboard again. That must feel good. Momentum going your way?
Yeah, I mean, top of the leaderboard's right where we want to be. We're under no illusions. It's super tight, especially that top four at the moment. And for us to get our first win on the board with T-Foils and Portsmouth, I think it's a huge milestone for the team. So we're looking forward to continuing to chip away at the things we're working on this weekend. But gets into a pretty busy spot of the season here through the European leagues. So really keeping that momentum is going to be the key.
And I mean, last season you guys were sort of dominating, winning lots of events. How much has the racing sort of changed this season?
Well, I think at this point last season we were about fifth. We'd dropped the wing in Saint-Tropez, we'd missed an event. We were kind of a long way behind the Australians, and then really this back half of the season was where we seemed to flourish. Obviously the Aussies had their massive crash in Christchurch, which I think kind of slowed their momentum massively that season. So for us it's really about how you keep that consistency, how you keep building, and how you keep winning these events.
And you kind of touched on it before in the press conference, but even though it's like a massive relief that you had your win on the T-Foils, you still got to keep learning in between every single event.
Yeah, I mean, every team's getting better and better every event. The standard's getting higher and higher. I think if you rolled the clock back at all and dropped in a team as they're currently performing, they'd just be absolutely smashing it. So it's really trying to keep improving quicker than everyone else. And saying that as well, the tech team keeps kind of changing things on the boats. This weekend it's the diff tables completely revamped, so it's going to be kind of seeing how you can extract the most performance out of that. We've got new configurations coming on for Switzerland, so you're going to have to adapt to that, and it's just really just keeping ahead of the curve.
And you kind of touched on the diff, but maybe for everyone listening, like how much does that change the way that you sail, I guess, managing the power of the boat?
To be honest, I don't think it's going to change the way we sail the boat much, but there's probably kind of some slightly different best performance kind of case. So, yeah.
Looking for the 1%ers.
Yeah, I mean, the margins are small, right? I think there's a whole series on, the way everyone started sailing more bow down last season to try and optimise the way they extract performance out of the boat with the way they're set up with the... and obviously they keep changing that, so it's something you've just got to keep adapting to the way the boats are set.
Yeah, great plug for our YouTube channel, so everyone's got to go in and watch that. Thanks heaps, Pete. Yeah, thanks. All right, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Perfect, thanks heaps.
Thanks. All right, I'm going to head out and find Dylan Fletcher. Dylan, how are you going? We're here at a new venue, coming off the back of a home event. You feeling jazzed to get back out there?
Yeah, no, it's good. Never been here before. but it looks like a great race course. I think it's going to be tricky, offshore conditions, 5 to 20 knots or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be good fun.
Sounds pretty easy. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. But you and Hannah, you guys have a pretty good rhythm in that tactical stuff. Are you looking forward to playing that game?
Absolutely, yeah. I think just really looking forward to getting back racing and hoping to build on that momentum and the confidence we got out of Portsmouth.
And how tricky is it when it's so gusty like that, 5 to 20 knots, to sort of manage the power and like just on the F50 and then try do that strategy stuff?
Yeah, it's definitely really tough trying to manage between sailing the boat fast whilst, sailing the shortest distance up the course. So ultimately, I think it's a weekend attack when it flaps.
There you go. There you have it. Best advice for gold medalist Dylan Fletcher. Anyway, have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll chat throughout.
Thanks.
Seb, good to see you. You've been busy in between events. Congratulations, you got married.
Yeah, exactly. Always busy between events, working on the data, but this time even more with a beautiful wedding. So yeah, it was great.
And a great honeymoon at a beautiful destination in Germany.
Exactly, yeah. Coming for the honeymoon in Sassnitz is very exciting. As you can see, beautiful weather. But no, it's great to be back with the team and all together. And yeah, we'll have time for a honeymoon later.
And you guys had an awesome event in Portsmouth, making your first final. I know when we spoke afterwards, you were frustrated with the tech issues. But have you had time to reflect and realize what achievement that was getting into your first final?
Yeah, I think first of all, we turned that frustration into motivation for this event to try and make it again in the final and finish it off. But no, incredibly proud of the team. It was a big milestone for us. And yeah, it just gives us, as I said, more motivation for the future.
And we've been talking about this race course with some of the other athletes, but it's going to be quite tricky out there. What's your sort of impression so far?
Well, I think we had very different conditions in the training to what we'll get in the racing. I think on the weekend we should get offshore breeze, which I'm quite excited about because we didn't have so much in SailGP, that kind of very shifty breeze.
Sounds like lake life. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so it could be quite dynamic, a lot of overtakes. So yeah, should be some exciting racing to follow.
Awesome. We'll have a great weekend and enjoy.
Thanks.
Well, I'm here with the hometown hero, Eric. Eric, how excited are you for a home event in Germany?
Fizzing, really fizzing. It's been a good week so far. We had great conditions, some light days, some stronger days. And now the wind is filling in. The forecast becomes better and better. So yeah, really excited for the weekend.
And although it's your home race, you haven't actually done much racing here.
No, but it's also quite similar to Kiel. So you have offshore breeze. It's very shifty, very gusty, and I hope all the training in Kiel will help us here as well.
And what are you most looking forward to? Obviously, the conditions are looking really good. It's going to be a challenging race course, but that's kind of fun.
For sure, it's fun. It's flat water. I think all the flight controllers are looking forward to flat water. Finally, yeah. They haven't had it the last couple of days, so they're really excited for that. Big speeds tomorrow. Excited crowds. I think for us would be a great event to step up.
And obviously, some of the season has been really tough for you guys, but I'm sure you're hoping to put it all together for that crowd, like you were saying.
That would be the best moment for this season to do it. Yeah, we're really excited. Sailing community is completely here. All the racing people, all people interested in racing in general, even lots of people coming here to see what SailGP offers, and I hope we will deliver.
Well, enjoy the racing. Good luck, and hopefully see you on the podium this weekend.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it. It's going to be an epic weekend of racing. And as Eric was saying, the sailing fans will all be getting down here. We actually have 13,000 across the weekend here in Sassnitz. So I'm looking forward to it. Enjoy the racing all weekend, and we'll see you for the debrief.
I'm glad to see everybody agreeing that format. And Lisa,
she's really good.
Isn't she great?
Yeah.
And we've known that, but it's really nice to see and hear from the sail. I mean, look at the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, she's diminutive. She's short. She's diminutive, but so what? I like the kind of the camera motion in and out. You know, it's just relaxed. Everybody's smiling. The sailors are not sitting on a stage, and as Ed Worley says, I like sailors talking like sailors, not corporate talking points.
Yeah,
and exactly right. And I want to go back to that rudder failure. We now know who AH is. It's Anders Helgeson. Are you Dutch? Or sorry, not Dutch. You must be Danish, Anders. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on with your name there. Mm-hmm. And he and others are asserting that the rudder broke loose. And I want to go back to it. Let's just finish up with Lisa and her interviews.
Yeah.
Jody Shields makes an interesting comment. Pete Burling has certainly had the shackles released. His interviews are way more interesting.
Yes.
since he left ETNZ.
Yeah.
And now is eligible to sail for the Italians under the protocol relaxation.
yes.
Some islands, the rebuild on the, Gruber's comment, we want to go back to that too. Nice interviews. Ryman agrees. Greg Phillips, just fantastic. She's good. Great interview. Damn, my sushi just crumbled.
Oh, Lisa's from Royal Prince Albert. I didn't know that.
Your favorite club, Phil Burgess is there. Commodore, he's a Commodore, isn't he? A former Commodore, Phil? Yeah, your favorite club, Julia.
Yes.
But bravo Zulu to her. And why don't they put her in charge of the press conferences? Make her the Bruno Troublé of Sail GP. What happens? They get to us there and they get some local television personality to handle the press conferences. They don't know what the fudge they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And she knows because she's been following this and commenting and doing her thing.
People.
She knows the people. She knows the league. She knows the inside and outside. They put her on the press conference.
Right.
Put her on the commentary team. Well, she is, but don't just have her doing the roving boat or whatever the hell she's doing. Put her out there. She knows what she's talking about. The interviews were very relaxed and informing, Gordon Smith is saying, and Phil is, in fact, the rear Commodore. Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Was able to dig that out, Julia, at your favorite club, at least in Australia, if not in the world. But let's go back to several of you are asserting, and it looks like the rudder failure caused the boat to nosedive, not the other way around. The rudder, they lost the rudder downforce in the back. And a couple of comments here I think are quite spot on. Steve Gruber, Jody's video link. Okay, there's a link up there in the chat, thanks to Jody. Jody's video link confirms rudder failure. So that's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. Blake agrees that Lisa would be great to manage the press conferences. But there's another comment here that I think is Steve Gruber's comment. The rebuild on the wings may have overpowered the other components. Well, I think the T-foils have also overpowered the other components, Steve Gruber. Make one thing stronger and something else breaks. Excuse me. It needs to be a package.
Yes. I stopped on that earlier, too.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Jody Shields says, there is a very tight turn just before the rudder snaps, high loads. Now, this is a problem. These boats are breaking. And they keep adding loading to it. And if it's as breezy now this weekend as it appears that it's going to be, this could be carnage.
I'll be watching.
Well, we will. It's so dark 30 our time. Are you going to get up and watch it at 6:30? Gordon Smith, very brave of those who clicked on a link sent by Jody. You never know what might pop up. Okay, Sail GP, let's wrap it up. There's the leaderboard. Pete on top and Tom second, and Los Gallos, Diego Botin's team, your favorite team, Julia, in third. Give them that applause again, and then down through Dylan, Giles, and Conton in sixth. Sebastian Schneider, it's nice to see him climbing up the leaderboard. And that's the first time. I didn't realize he just gotten married. Nope. Nice to see his smiling face, and he's relaxed.
Yes.
And then Eric Heil was using the word fizz. It's going to be fizzing. He's been hanging out with Leo Takahashi too much. With Leonard. That's a favorite word of his. Massive carnage and maneuvers, Ed Worley is saying. We'll see. Burling referred to rudder differential. The downforce settings have changed. I wonder if that caused problems on both FRA and BRA. That's
well be.
Stingray up in Seattle, a.k.a. Dogzilla Monster. Okay, well, there are the standings, and nothing about the Americans. They've been very quiet, but we've got two new guys on the boat, apparently, and let's see if that helps this weekend. One can only hope that helps. And by the way, the television, they will be live on YouTube and other outlets, other channels, starting at 06:30 Pacific time, Julia, if you want to watch it.
That I can do.
09:30 Eastern, both tomorrow and Sunday, both Saturday and Sunday, which is 13:30 UTC, which is 15:30 local time, 15:30 in Central Europe, CET. For the racing live tomorrow and Sunday, and I'll be watching, and you'll be watching. Mm-hmm. And I hope it's not a big carnage fest.
I do
but it's not an auspicious start. And I think RC Russell Coots has got his work cut out for him. He and his tech team to get these boats sorted out, big picture, longer term.
I think that the comment about having it be a package and it makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's true. I mean, these boats are, and you know, this is the amazing thing. We go back to the America's Cup, and everybody say, "Oh, these foiling monohulls are so fast." They're no faster than these boats. And nobody cares about the actual speed, the relative speeds. If you're really into the speed,
Right.
I found the Governor's Cup racing, match racing, just as interesting, if not more so,
Yeah.
than
And
boats
closer,
and
you know.
closer, and the maneuvering, and all the stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
Warren Schasser, hopefully it doesn't take someone to get seriously hurt. Yes, good point, Warren. Before they relook at the boat builds and the loads. Reduce the stress loads by going back to the pre-T-foils. Well, that's a big deal to do that, Rick, but yes, that may be a good suggestion as well as we move forward here. And the promised AAAA from Alistair, in fact, a couple of them. Alistair Murray's awesome Aussie anecdotes, plural. He did one before he left Garda, which has been sitting in my email inbox.
Yeah.
And it's only a minute long, but let's get to it because it is really puts a nice exclamation point on that fantastic regatta at Lake Garda. He was there sailing the Taser Worlds with his daughter, and his daughter got hurt late in the thing, so he didn't race the last couple races. And here was his final video report from Lake Garda before we do his longer AAAA for today.
Oh, look at that.
Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. This is Alistair with AAAA, a very short one from Lake Garda. Believe it or not, this storm has just hit right at the end of the regatta as we're about to complete our last race, but they didn't send us out. I wasn't sailing anyway because of my daughter's back injury. I missed the last couple of races, but I've had an absolute ball here. Here at Lake Garda, it's incredibly wet, it's extremely windy, and you can see these torrential conditions. But we've had a great regatta won by Nick and Toby from Great Britain, with Jonathan and Libby McKee from USA second, and Hugh and Anna Tate from Australia third. Anyway, blowing like stink, blowing dogs off chains, blowing the fish out of the water. Choose whatever term you like. It's fun here at Lake Garda. Over and out from AAAA. Bye.
Garda's not always perfect. I mean, it's a fabulous venue, but it does rain. It does get windy and squally there. You're up in the Alps. I mean, it does happen, right?
It's always been wonderful. What's wonderful about Garda is it has two ends.
Yeah, damn fine tuning on that storm hitting right after the regatta ended, and apparently his daughter's back is on the repair. Alistair, and I don't know if his daughter was with him or not, but they left Garda, and they've had this long, 6, 7, 8 week sojourn in Europe, and from there, they went to Phuket. Not fuck it. Phuket. See how polite I was?
Barely.
Which is a great airport, by the way, or at least going back through Thailand, back to Australia. I've flown that route many times, several times. And here's his report from quite the opposite of rainy Lake Garda.
G'day, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. This is Alistair with AAAA, Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. I'm bringing you this one from beautiful Phuket. I'm on the end of a world trip and stopping here on the way back to Australia. And I'm stopping at a place that has a very special place in my heart, quite frankly. Let me explain. So about 17 or 18 years ago, we were looking for a venue for a Taser World Championship, and we wanted to put it on somewhere different, somewhere with a truly special holiday vibe, somewhere the families could come to and really enjoy, somewhere different, somewhere memorable. So we chose Cape Panwai Resort, despite the fact that there wasn't a single Taser in Thailand, not a single boat. There was no yacht club to run it, there were no yacht club facilities, no patrol boats, nothing. So we brought the whole shooting match to Thailand, including 60 boats and all of the race management team under the Wilson brothers, the famous Wilson brothers from Melbourne. And we ran what many regarded as being the best Taser Worlds ever. So it can be done, and it was just a brilliant success. Loved it. I loved it so much that Tracy and I decided to get married here. So 15 years ago, in shorts and bare feet on the sand in front of Cape Panwa Resort here, I got married to Tracy, and we've decided to come back here every 5 years for our 5th wedding anniversary. We're here for our 5th wedding anniversary right now, and are just having a very relaxing time for 4 or 5 days. It's actually our 5th visit to this wonderful place. So Cape Panwa Resort, love it. Bit of a message from my AAAA this week. I thought I might outline a bit of a pet peeve. So I've recently been to Lake Garda, and I sailed in the Taser Worlds at Torbelay. I was there with lots of sailing friends from around the world, sailing all around the lake. There was another one in particular, Malcolm Page, who was sailing in a J70 World Cup out of Riva, and we just wanted to keep an eye on each other's results, and we just couldn't find them on either of the club sites. And it reminded me that over the years, I and many of my sailing friends have looked for sailing results on websites for many events, world championships, state championships, national championships, whatever. We go onto these sites of yacht clubs and class associations, and the one thing that we go onto that site for is to see how the regatta's going, to just check on the results. So you click on these yacht club sites and you'll see, in many cases, a list of the office bearers, a tour of the facilities, the yacht club location, a notice of race perhaps for the event, sailing instructions, a menu for the bar, how to order your lunches. Every piece of information you can find relating to that particular regatta, except for the results. And I just want to sort of leave that message out there for yacht club administrators, regatta organisers, and class associations. Please, when we go to your site to check up on a regatta, make the results the simple, easiest thing to find, not the most difficult. Some classes and associations do it beautifully, and you go straight through and you can see it and it's wonderful and they're really well outlined. There's many that do a terrible job. And I'm reminded of Tom imploring people when they're sending reports on regattas to include, for example, the lists of all the crew names and some other fundamentals that they miss out on. I reckon Tom could write a good guide to class associations and yacht clubs on how to communicate well with the media. Well, folks, please communicate with the media and also sailing enthusiasts like myself, and put a tab to the results as the clearest and most obvious thing on every website for regatta from now on. And I'll be one happy chap. Thank you. Bye.
Bravo. Excuse me. Bravo, Zulu. Well said, Alistair. Happy 15th or whatever anniversary it is. But yeah. And you, Julie, you made a comment during that, during his video saying, match racing results are fairly easy to find because every major match racing event is on match racing results, matchservice.com, whatever it is, matchracingresults.com.
Yeah, I think.
You're right, I think. So everything, those events that we've been following in New York, the Chicago event this weekend, the Governor's Cup, so all match racing events, large and small,
yes,
youth and senior, are all on that service, and they have the same format.
Mm-hmm.
You click and it says, here's what's going on now, here's what's about to happen, here's what's already happened, and you can find it all. So absolutely, I wonder if we need the equivalent of matchracingresults.com for just globally, some kind of a thing that says regatta results.com, regatta racing something, and we somehow get a more standard spreadsheet type of reporting, because that's the other beauty of this is the race committees. For Match Racing Results Service, correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who've done it, Larry Kennedy will know, or maybe certainly the gang down at Balboa Yacht Club. I think the race committee sends the results in by radio to our racing manager down there, to Becky Lenhart, who gets on the computer, fills in the results, and it goes up, and then it automatically fills into the matrix.
Yeah, and at the time of the race ends, I mean.
Within minutes of each flight, of each match ending. Hamish Ross, if you take an entry fee, you have a duty to put up the results. Absolutely. So why can't we get some kind of a result service that is for some kind of events, major events? I don't know, world championships, continental championships, state championships, something. And everybody posts to that with some kind of a standard format, so it's easy for the club to do it, and it's easy for all of us who want to know to go find out. Alternatively, and I'm not going to write a guide, but maybe one of you will write a guide, and we sure appreciate it if you would, because still, two of our most popular shows ever in the 10 years almost we've been doing this were the two shows when we had Bernie Wilson from San Diego, the esteemed Associated Press writer, said, here's what I need from regatta organizers. And then we had the late, great PR guy from Pensacola, Florida, I've forgotten his name now, another Wilson, not Bernie, and he told us how he does it for regattas, and it was a good prescription. Sounds like a job for Chapin, Joe Holtzman is saying. But maybe it's simpler than having some kind of there's yachtscoring.com is much, much worse than a year ago now that it has been bought by the corporate conglomerate. Yachtscoring.com, but that doesn't post results from multiple regattas, does it, Rick? It's just it's a format, it's a service for clubs, classes, and so on to use in doing their entry system and results and everything else. I used to really like when Blake was running a lot of races, but regardless.
Oh yeah, Ed Worley says, posting racing results is a good project for AI utilization.
Yeah, no doubt, and he knows a lot about that.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, dude.
He's doing some software for some big corporate medical type software that he's working on. Jody Shields, one would think that this would be a world sailing. World sailing would screw this up to a fairly well, like most everything else they screw up. Oh, I'm not being positive, John. I'm sorry. Another Wilson, the soccer ball. No, what was his name? The guy, he's passed away. Somebody from the Gulf Coast, help me.
Yeah, nice guy.
Nice guy, and he was on the show a couple of times. Mm-hmm. This Mark Hammond would know how to do this and could make this happen probably not quite in his sleep because it is a project. But if nothing else, if a yacht club, San Diego Yacht Club does a good job of this, for one. If they put a big label, a big button at the top of their, so you don't have to dig through 3 or 4 different menus to get to sailing and then racing and then regattas and regatta results. If the yacht clubs would put it, and classes, would put at the top of their splash page, their main page, racing. And not race result, maybe even race results. That's even perhaps better. But racing, and then you click on that, and it goes in, and it lists all the regattas that the club is running, will be running, has run, and you can go in and find the results. One click takes you right to the results page because he is so right. Alistair, is so right.
Absolutely.
That this is, and I spend more time at this than most people, trying to find results, trying to find crew names. But I'll tell you what, the AI solution, maybe Ed's right, because if you were to go on, I'm going to test it right now. I'm going to go on my phone to ChatGPT, and I could use the microphone, but I won't. I'll say Taser Worlds, recent Taser Worlds results. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here are the latest results from the 2025 Taser World Championships held 14 to 21 at Circolo Vela Arco on Lake Garda, Italy. Final standings, top 3. Nick Craig, Toby Lewis, crew name. Gold. Jonathan McKee, Libby Johnson McKee, second. Silver. Sail number, name of their boat. Hugh Tate, Anna Tate, Australia, bronze, sail number 2995. In total, 36 boats competed with 11 races held and 2 discard scores applied. There it is.
Yay.
And then it gives provisional rankings mid-event, if you wanted to know that. Hey, man, I'm changing my tune here. Just use just use ChatGPT
Yeah.
if you want to know the results of any event.
And yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Man,
that's
oh
good.
man. Final standings, top 3. And I'm sure it'll say, do you want to know the rest of it? And you say yes. I always say yes, please, when I'm talking to
Yes,
ChatGPT.
I do too.
Final standings.
Mm-hmm.
There they are. Country, boat name, crew name, sail number. It doesn't get a lot better than that. Okay.
That's great.
That's the comments here on that.
And thanks to Ed.
Yeah, good point, Ed Worley. One would think another Wilson. I'm still trying to remember that guy's name. He was a great guy. Died a few years ago.
From
the Gulf Coast.
Gulf Coast, yeah.
As a tech company, we would set up a agentic AI set up to gather all sail rate. Who's G. Bow? Tell us your name, please. Thank you for this comment.
Mm-hmm.
We'd set up all sailing racing results from different regattas could be a scalable approach. And so it sounds like it's doable and
Yes.
probably easily doable if you know what you're doing, which of course I don't. A one-stop page of results from every sailing club is the answer. Jody Shields agrees.
Mm-hmm.
AI and face recognition. Yes, you do, Tom. I don't know what that means. What does that mean, Alan Long? Should be easy to read should be an easy to read dashboard. Yes. Who's Jibo? Good points here. ChatGPT always needs a prompt. Yes, okay. Give ChatGPT the same phrase every time. Ed Worley. Look at all these comments.
Yeah.
Look at all this stuff. There is a site called ReTube that has loads of results if anyone is interested. Phrase prompt. And the Jibo is Garrett Batamuller. Batamuller. We did the Love Wind for the last AC. The Love Wind. I'm not quite sure what that is. Okay, Garrett, is it? Thank you, sir, for that.
Yes.
Ed Worley, sounds like you got a project with Garrett and maybe a few others on here. Jody, see what you can come up with, because obviously a very good point, but it sounds like ChatGPT or AI is the answer, Julia.
Yes. Oh, it would be heavenly.
I see Garrett's company did the live wind for the last AC.
Uh-huh.
Garrett, where are you? Are you German? Austrian? It's a German name, isn't it? Okay, well, that's great stuff, and that is a good initiative. We met in Valencia. He was with United Internet Team Germany. Okay, nice.
Okay.
Well, that is our report from Alistair.
And we recognized and solved the problem.
Well, I don't know we solved it, but one thing is for sure, Julia, we can use ChatGPT to find results within seconds.
Yes.
And that was it's a great format.
Yes.
You get the stuff you need to know quickly. It makes my life easier putting these shows together, that's for sure.
Yes.
Alistair Murray, thank you very much for both of your AAAAs. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote.
Always wonderful.
For the day, always wonderful. Which gets us, Julia, to the last leg with 7 minutes to go before we try to do this in under 2 hours each time. And that famous painting, which is our photo, our image for The Last Leg, that 1982 painting, The Last Leg to Gloucester by Thomas Hoyne. Mm-hmm. We have two last legs today. One is the Chicago. I was really checking to see if Cole Tapper was racing yet again in this Grand Slam event. Mm-hmm. He having raced in the previous two. There are a total of four. And this third one is in Chicago today, tomorrow, and Sunday at Chicago Yacht Club. Now, Chicago Yacht Club has two stations. Those of you who are Americans will probably know this. Those of you who've been to CYC, that's the downtown station. That's the main station at the foot of Monroe Street in beautiful Chicago, Illinois. And they are celebrating their 150th anniversary this year. Bravo Zulu to them. We've celebrated them before. Julia, you were saying?
No, that was a great picture.
It is a great picture, isn't it? Look at that. And it's a great club. And we've done many meetings there, done a lot of sailing there, some judging. It's a great club in the heart of America. That was the name of their America's Cup campaign back in the 1987 campaign. Buddy Melgus and co. 150th anniversary. This is their other station. This is their Belmont Harbor station. A bit, you can see downtown there behind. That's looking to the south. there is downtown Chicago. So they're up on the Gold Coast and beyond, heading up toward Willamette and Winnetka and Racine, Wisconsin, and so on. The Belmont station of Chicago Yacht Club, which is where this match racing event is taking place today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And these are in Tom 28s, the Tom 28 Maxes, in fact. Ceccarelli Yacht Designs 26-footers, I think, on the waterline, to 28 feet overall. And this regatta is going on, and it's quite a good field. Sadly, not Cole Tapper. He must have had to go home and go back to work, go back to other family affairs. Timothy Rossi is racing. Morgan Pinkney again. Tom Pico, Peter Holtz, Christian Prendergast, Freddie Parkin, and Jack Jennings are racing, and we'll follow that. And the other event that on the last leg we want to give you a little introduction to is a reminder that it's going on in Puerto Portals, the 52 Super Series Sailing Week in Mallorca.
The world's leading mono racing circuit is back in Puerto Portals. Teams are all set to do battle for the Bay of Palma.
The whole crew there in the back of the boat. I absolutely love it.
Who would have thought a big, big win for the Finns?
Oh, so close!
Great racing, sled catching, American magic.
They are neck and neck.
Everything is possible until you cross that finish line.
Fantastic racing.
What a thrilling race. Oh my God.
It's going to be a good series. That's all next week in Mallorca.
Let's go.
And that racing is fabulous. The Sail GP racing is fabulous.
Yes.
Notice Rolex is involved with both Sail GP and the Super Series.
Right.
They're not involved with the America's Cup. And it looks like Ernesto Bertorelli, a billionaire, is bowing out. Who knows if Doug DeVos and American Magic and New York Yacht Club are going to go again? I'm not well informed. But it doesn't, they don't sound like there's a lot of enthusiasm there given what's going on. We know that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is out. And what have they got going for the America's Cup? I hate to be not so positive. John Emmett. But excuse me, it's not correct. Mark Holland agrees. The more he sees the TP52s, the better he likes them.
Mm-hmm.
Sail Race HQ, which is a scoring program, is working well for the RORC. There's another guy who would know how to do this, Andrew McIrvin. But man, ChatGPT, I did not rehearse that, obviously. That worked really well.
It did.
That was good stuff. Okay, so those two events going on in the coming days and week, and we'll check back in on them on Tuesday, when I hope we're going to have Hamish Raw. No guarantee. He's got a conflict or two. But if I can get him on, we'll go into some detail about the America's Cup. And before those of you who say, well, I'm tired of the America's Cup, why do you keep bringing it up? Because a lot of our FOSI, a lot of our regular audience are interested in hearing the latest, even if it's not well settled, even if it's crickets, or if it's not if it's not a one hears, if it's not breaking news, they still want to know what we think and hear is going on. So we will do some coverage of that and maybe have a panel discussion. If anybody else wants to come on and opine about what's going on in the Cup on a Zoom panel next Tuesday, please let me know. Ted Ryman, thank you for your various inputs, Ted, through the week as well, including and especially on the America's Cup. Ted says, I love the America's Cup. That brings us to your favorite D-Block segment, Julia.
Yes.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and I'm not going to... There are so many of these videos of the most famous man in the world, the most famous Italian man in the world, the most famous boomer, which is pretty funny for, those of us of the boomer age.
Yes.
The most famous Italian, the most famous... I haven't found one of the most famous Kiwi yet, but when I do, I'll play it. The most famous Aussie. We played that one.
Did we?
Yeah, we'll play some more. This one, predictably, who do you think sent this? There's an accordion being...
Claire.
That is Claire. Claire Harrington sent that one. the accordion went over the walls of the castle, and now it came
back.
Hey, we'll get us out of here. You don't have to send other things into the case on the accordion. And guess who sent this one? I got tired of all the bagpipe jokes and the banjo player. No, that also came from Claire.
Oh.
And then finally, because we haven't had one in a while, and this is the sailing show with a drinking habit, or the drinking show with a sailing habit, this is a whiskey stone. You throw the stone in the air, and there's you know what flag that is? You know what this flag is?
Oh, I should.
It's code flag M, but it's really the Scottish flag. If it falls to the ground, you have to drink a glass of whiskey, Julia.
Ooh.
The Scottish flag. That was sent, no surprise, by Ted Ryman. It was the cleanest one he sent.
Oh, well.
He and Greg Phillips. I have to parse through theirs because you would otherwise be exercising your finger.
Yes.
The St. Andrews flag. Thank you, Gordon Smith. Alan Long says he finds the AC entertaining. Fog Machine is sailing for John Grisham lovers. Now, do you know who John Grisham is?
The author?
The author. You know where he's from? Mississippi.
Oh, yeah.
Good friend of Susie Hills, one of our good friends in Newport, Rhode Island, a sailing family.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And the gardens. Yeah.
Well, he didn't write The Garden of Good and Evil.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking? I know somebody else wrote that. That was about Savannah, but he writes all the lawyerly things. Okay.
Yeah.
If it falls to the ground, speaking of falling, we got Blake Middleton's. I usually end the show falling to the ground with this one because all the smartest people sail. Saltire. And if it falls and breaks your glass, Alan Long is saying, all the smartest people sail blank. Thank you for that. Julie gets us to the finish line, and you like to say...
Yes. Oh, take this opportunity to introduce Sailing Illustrated to your friends. So like, follow, and share.
A lot of people's viewership went down of these live streams and YouTube videos and so on after the people, during the pandemic, nobody had anything to do except go online and watch stuff.
Yeah.
And people are reporting that theirs have gone. Ours has been pretty steady all along and starting to climb again. Maybe it's the America's Cup.
I think it probably is.
And we'll try to be positive, but we also will say what we mean and mean what we say constructively going forward. Mm-hmm. That's always been our claim. And those of you can do so in the comments and are generally, not even generally, almost always the comments are to a T, to a comment, are constructive, are helpful, are grateful, and we are grateful for all of your comments.
And fun to read.
And fun to read. Ed Worley, have a great weekend. Turn off the news media and go sailing or watch Sail GP at 0630 Pacific tomorrow morning. Comments are welcome even in replay. And thank you again for all of you who support us via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated so we can have a studio, so we can pay our increasingly exorbitant streaming fees, Julia.
Yes.
So we can keep everything working here. Another 2-hour and 2-minute, 3-minute show here from Studio B, which we'll do again on Tuesday. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for your support. Thanks for the images and the audio and the video that we were able to use today. Julia, final thoughts?
No, it's just always nice to see everybody.
A lot of great comments today,
Yes.
even more than usual, I think. Okay, everybody, thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend. We hope to see you on Tuesday, same time, same channel. And in the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now. Because Gordon said testicles in the chat. That's a double finger wag. They're two testicles, Julia.